The world we live in moves at a pace that often feels impossible to match. Information comes in waves, events stack on top of each other, and emotions rise faster than we have time to understand them. More and more, people react instead of reflect, judge instead of observe, respond impulsively instead of consciously. And in this constant movement, a question begins to form. How does a person stay clear, stable, and grounded when the outer world is loud enough to drown out their own thoughts? Adaptatism emerges as an answer to this new era, not as a belief system, not as a strict ideology, but as a way of seeing and interacting with reality. It is a philosophy of action built on clarity, balance, and proportionality. It teaches a person to act not from emotional turbulence, but from understanding. In a time when most respond quickly but superficially, adaptatism invites us to act slowly yet precisely. To understand its depth, it's enough to look at ordinary moments. Someone walks past you on the street and doesn't say hello, even though you know each other. Instantly, your mind creates a story. They're upset with you, ignoring you, holding something against you. But when you strip away the interpretation and look at the reality, it may turn out they simply didn't notice you or were lost in their own thoughts. One tiny interaction can show the difference between reactive thinking and adequate thinking. Or imagine sending someone a message and receiving silence in return. Emotion pushes forward dozens of conclusions. They don't care, they're angry, something's wrong. But the real world is often simpler. They might be at work, on the road, tired, or distracted. Adaptivism quiets the internal storm and reminds you not to let emotion write fiction. Life becomes lighter when we stop filling in the blanks with fear. In relationships, adequatism changes the very texture of human connection. A partner speaks in a sharp tone, and old patterns trigger offense, withdrawal, or escalation. Adequatism encourages a different approach. First understand, then respond. Often, the sharpness isn't about you at all. It's about exhaustion, stress, or a long day pressing on that person. When you see the moment without emotional distortion, half of the conflicts disappear instantly. Where old narratives created tension, now there is room for dialogue. In psychology, adequatism becomes a tool for inner restoration. People often suffer not from what happens to them, but from the way they interpret it. Anxiety rarely comes from real danger. More often, it grows from imagined threats. Fear expands from assumptions, not facts. Anger arises not from the actions of others, but from unresolved places within. Adequatism invites a person to pause and ask, do my feelings match the facts? The answer can be unexpectedly liberating. Even in daily life, adequatism shows its value. You stand in line and someone steps ahead. The immediate reaction is irritation. But if you look closer, you might see an elderly person who simply misread the line, or a parent juggling a tired child. Where emotion sees threat, adequatism sees context, and the response becomes steadier, kinder, more proportional. In business, adequatism becomes a strategic strength. A leader who can separate fact from emotion creates an environment where people feel safe to be honest and to take initiative. Teams become more effective because fear leaves the room. Decisions become more accurate because they are based on understanding, not panic. In crisis situations, adequatism prevents destructive overreaction. When a business faces a sudden downturn or unexpected market change, impulsive decisions can damage even a strong company. Adequatism suggests a simple but powerful sequence. See the reality, understand it, then act only as much as necessary. No more, no less. This saves organizations from costly mistakes. In politics, adequatism could transform everything. Much of modern politics is built on emotional manipulation, fear, anger, division, oversimplification. It is easy to move a society that is frightened. It is much harder to move a society that is aware. Adequatism in politics means grounding decisions in reality instead of emotional pressure. It means replacing hostility with balanced dialogue, replacing empty promises with realistic strategies. It may not sound as dramatic, but it creates stability, and stability is what societies desperately need. In science, adequatism feels completely natural. Science demands observation before interpretation, measurement before conclusion. Adequatism brings that same careful approach into everyday life. Do not dramatize when a simple observation is enough. Do not conclude when there are no facts. Do not create chaos where there is only a small deviation. This is not just a philosophy. It is a mental discipline that brings clarity and reduces unnecessary suffering. In difficult life circumstances, adequatism becomes an internal stabilizer. When a person loses a job, faces illness, experiences a breakup, or meets unexpected hardship, the mind often falls into emotional overload. Panic, sadness, anger, helplessness all swirl together. Adequatism does not promise that pain will disappear, but it does promise that chaos can become navigable. It encourages a person to look directly at the situation and ask, what exactly is happening? What is within my control? What is challenge rather than catastrophe? This simple honesty creates the first thread of stability. Consider how often people misinterpret the world around them. Someone thinks their coworkers dislike them, when in reality, no one knows they're struggling. A parent snaps at their child not because of the child's mistake, but because of their own exhaustion. Friends fall into conflict over a single misunderstood sentence. Adequatism brings the ability to see the truth behind the noise, and this truth is almost always gentler than our assumptions. And this is why the world needs adequatism now. It is not a philosophy about being calm. It is a philosophy about being mature, about standing firmly even when the world shakes, about acting precisely when others act excessively, about listening to yourself without drowning in emotion, about speaking to others without aggression, about living not through reaction but through conscious presence. Adaptivism gives a person something modern life often steals, a sense of inner space, a place that does not demand rushing, a place free from imaginary disasters, a place where you can be honest with yourself, hear yourself, and see yourself. From that space, clarity arises, and from clarity comes action, and from action comes a different quality of life. The world becomes heavier when we act impulsively and lighter when we act consciously. If there is anything humanity lacks today, it is not information or resources or talent. It is adequate, honest, grounded presence in reality. Adequatism is a philosophy that helps a person stay human in a world constantly testing their mind. It helps you see without distortion, act without destruction, hold your balance without losing your depth, and choose your path even when everything around you pulls in different directions.